that dude's dad. I mean, I'll give him credits for that. That was kind of funny.
I do want to say, by the way, we are at 1,000 likes with 43 new members today, and we have 4,300 people concurrently watching with no redirected in. So I just wanted to say, we have the best fucking audience in the goddamn world. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Where the fuck is Roxy? Roxy Savage, get in here. Get in here, Roxy. Oh, here's Roxy. All right, Boogie, be nice.
Don't know how to be nice to Roxy, but okay, I'll try.
Be nice. She's going through it. Roxy.
You don't have to be. That's what it is.
What the fuck is going on, Roxy?
Hold on, let me get my shit on. Jesus.
Since you're on your phone, we might be able to see you when you can't see yourself. So just fucking, I'll tell you when you can see you.
Actually, let me close all this out.
Don't you have a setup? You could be at your setup.
I do, but my daughter's using it right now to do her exams.
Okay.
What the fuck is going on?
We can
Hold
see
on.
It's
something.
It's a known thing with iPhones.
Usually I'm fine on it. I don't know why. Hey, let me go and come back in.
Oh my god. I have to be nice today to her.
She's a woman, okay?
Yeah, that don't excuse shit in my book. I hate women more than I hate men.
She's
Okay.
emotional.
Okay, we can see you.
All right.
That's better. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
All right, Roxy,
All right.
you called into Milkers today, and you quit.
I didn't quit. What happened was Savage and I, we had our show going on. Did my camera? Okay, everything was fine. About 40 minutes when we were in backstage, we usually go 30 minutes in. I get a phone call from my old manager, and I'm like, let me just tell her I'll call her backstage. I'll be right back. So I get on the phone, and she's like, can you talk for a minute? I'm like, sure. What's up? She's like, well, I need to let you know that you're suspended from here. You're fired. Whatever. I'm sorry. We have to take your whole profile down off of our website. So that means 18 plus years of experience, all my qualifications, all the reviews, over 130 families left 5-star reviews. Like everything was just gone off their profile. So I have nothing, no resumes, no nothing anymore. So after I hung up with her, it like hit me. My ears plugged, my eyes, I couldn't see. I went back into Milkers, into the live backstage, and Savage was talking, and I just heard, I couldn't hear nothing. And it hit me like my life is over. My life is done. It's over. I couldn't do a show like that. I couldn't. And that's why I left. And if I'm fired, I deserve it.
Well, you're not fired. I'm not going to fire you. But I worked at, I did legal collections, and I worked at a law firm. And, I was streaming every single night in the summer of 2010, and I was making like good money. And I had like 2,000, 3,000 viewers in 2010 over on the famous Blog TV. And I quit. I quit my job at the attorney's office where I was making $70,000 a year. It was a great job. I was number one in the office. I beat all the fucking college graduates. I whooped their fucking ass. And my family basically disowned me. My baby mama didn't support it. Nobody supported it. And it was the end. And I was basically in a sink or swim fucking situation. And 2 years later, I became a millionaire. It's like sometimes the worst things where everything's like crashing and fucking everything is fucking breaking kind of just puts you on a different fucking path, Roxy, like a completely different path. And you don't know if that's going to take you to the fucking promised land or it's just going to fucking be a disaster and you'll end up on another path. But right now this fucking sucks, but this may be a blessing in disguise. I mean, the Milkers are fucking crushing it now. You guys are absolutely crushing it. This was a show.
Quit. I haven't quit. I just had a really bad day today. Just saying I apologize, but I just had a bad day.
I know, but this was a show, Roxy, that everybody in this fucking LCU just laughed at. It was a fucking joke. It was horrible. And it only became a decent, good show until you got there. You were the missing link. So,
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe this is just a glass half full situation.
I told you, as I said, I had two dreams in life. One was to care for disabled vets that had mental health problems, and I spent over 20 years doing that. Another dream was to be an entertainer. And you told me, well, Roxy, maybe it's now time that you think about yourself. You gave your life to everybody. Maybe start, do your other dream. And I did that. But I had that little hope that if this didn't work out, I can go back and do that. And I said, you know what? I always remember them words you said, like, I give people so many chances to become a millionaire and they don't take it. And it always stuck in my head. I was blessed to be able to come up here with no channel, no experience, no nothing, and do this. And I love it. It's just the whole job thing. I just want it to be over with. It has nothing to do with what people said about me. It's what they were in the investigation. They went to Christian's channel. It's what came out of the employees that I work with mouths is what got me in trouble. Trolls could have called. Strangers could have called. None of that mattered. It's what they heard out of my coworkers' mouths is what got me in trouble.
Well, have you ever thought that at the end of the day, letting this bridge burn?
Good evening, everybody. I do apologize if I sound a little weird, if I do stumble my words, if I mess up my sentence. My throat decided to crap out on me, and my body decided to, it'd be funny if we got sick now. So if my voice is a little rusty, if it's a little and if I feel like a little sluggish, I do apologize because I've been kind of sick. So video making, not that video making is difficult or anything, it's really not that hard. I'm just talking about some dumb idiots on the internet. I'm just a little sick. So let's get into the meat of it, right? Roxy and Milkers, right? So probably when this video is gonna be uploaded right after the Milker video, and I had an assumption that Queens does, and again, when these videos are made, they're either made one after the other, or I usually give myself a bit of time and do other stuff and then start making these videos back to back, right? For any amount of reason. I was assuming that Milkers was going to talk about that, and they do after the stream. And I also had an assumption that wow, not Milkers, Queens, my apology. This is how slick as I am. Queens, right? Queens. Which they did, right? They still brought a Psycho Mom, but we'll talk about that when we talk about it in the actual video about them. On this hand, right, on lolcowlive, Keem straight up said that, like, I guess Roxy wasn't quote unquote quitting, so we kind of figured that wasn't going to be the case, right? The lady doesn't have a job or anything, and this is probably an easy ass job for her, right? A 40-some, 50-some year old skeleton woman is using, this is a job that most will want, right? I know that for a fact. So, both Roxy and Savage came on to really kind of get their grief out and about, right? Because in their eyes, they're just sick and tired with the constant drama with Queen, right? Even though I have said in the past that the whole point of Milkers was to sabotage and undermine Queens, I think the problem is the excessiveness of it and the constant crap of it, right? You can tell that they just don't want to do that anymore. You can tell they're just sick of it. And obviously, Michael Hand is all over this, right? He probably, and, Savage straight up did admit that, like, Michael is the one that is pushing them to do this every single time. Because, I guess in a way, Michael wants to undermine Queens, but also keep it afloat, right? It's one of those where you sabotage it enough, but not enough to hurt the bottom line. Ultimately, Michael doesn't care. Michael only wants it for the money. And obviously, it's, Roxy, who's sick and tired of all of it because she's not used to the online stuff, where I think Savage is used to it. And I think Savage is not used to working with somebody that is not used to this kind of environment, right? Which is kind of funny because I said this, and when we get to the Queens, right, I would say this very confidently. I think Becky would be in the same boat as in Roxy if she didn't have somebody constantly protecting her, and that protection is from Keemstar. And let's be real about that.
I'm not gonna be nice. I've had the worst days of my life on this fucking program. I've had the worst days of my life live on this fucking show.
Me too.
I don't give a fuck how bad your day is. Fucking entertain your audience. That's what we do. This is the entire network. LolcowLive. Lolcow. You get in here and you have your bad
2 cents. Keem, get Becky, Tina, and PM on the show and let them spurg it out. It's good content.
Tina, Becky, get in here, and Psycho Mom. Let's go ahead.
I have a life, Boogie.
Let me finish what I was trying to say.
I have a life, Boogie.
Can I finish, Savage? I don't care that you have a life. I have a life too. I got a daughter, girlfriend to raise, okay? I got shit to do. I got 2 dogs to take care of. I have a house to fucking run, and I'm trying to save my diseased body, for fuck's sakes. I'm busy too. I still choose to be a lolcow and entertain the people that pay my fucking mortgage. So when you are having a bad day, you share it with the people who literally...
Besides Boogie grandstanding about how busy he is, which, let's be real, he's probably more or less isn't that busy. Mind you, this whole segment of live was only like a good 20 to 30 minutes. It wasn't that long of a segment. It could have been a lot longer, honestly. But, let's be real, right? Yeah, on one hand, Boogie is right. Why not profit off your own grief? Why not profit off of your own suffering, right? Make a lot of money off of it, get viewership. That is one way to do it. But I think at the same time, the Milkers are coming from a very different position where, again, I think if it was Savage, I don't think she would care and would be for it. But Savage is working with somebody that is not used to the kind of environment where stuff like that is just the norm. I do like Roxy quite a bit. I think she's enjoyable to watch. I don't really care if she's telling the truth or not. If you're expecting the truth from lolcows, then, wrong place. Just straight up wrong place. But I also do acknowledge that she's just a civilian. She's just a regular person that doesn't know anything, right? If you ask her about Christian, she's not going to know about that. So she's just not used to a place like this where people will go after your job. People will try to destroy your livelihood. People will misunderstand you on purpose or or twist your words, essentially. And most of the time, people who go through that just end up just streaming it and just try to make money out of it. That's usually the case. You know, there's really not much that could be said or be done. Now, obviously, this proves that Roxy wasn't quitting, right? And that Roxy is coming back to Milk. I think what it is that like, you know, after a day of just pumping people up ready to go to war with Queens, was again when we get into the Queen video, you could kind of tell that they just did not give a shit about Psycho Mom. I will die on that hill that they did not give a shit about Psycho Mom. They just don't. They really don't. It to them it's just a grift, right? And I think this is how I generally feel about the fighting between Queens and Milker comes down to Mike wanting to make a lot of money, but also Mike not giving a shit at the same time, and Mike clearly taking a side when it's beneficial, right? He even admitted that like if Milker started making more money, he'll side with them, kind of just showing that he has no sense of loyalty but the dollar. And in a way, game is game, and you can't blame a guy for that. You know, it's sort of how I heard. You know, it's how some people may criticize Dick Gemini for going back to local. This is a local universe. I'm not gonna hate on the guy who sees an opportunity to make money and get a show for himself and have a resume booster. I ain't gonna hate a guy for that. Just be honest about it. And Michael is very honest about the dollar he wants to make. And in my eyes, that's how. That's really. This is really all. That's really all I gotta say about this. Wait, I'm not sure what's gonna happen next. I'm not sure if this is gonna continue. I'm not sure if we're going to see Milker continue. Like I think they don't want to do that. So this is it's just the end of the war for now, or a temporary pause of the war between Milkers and Queens. So then again, when the day comes when not Milker, but the day when Milker overcomes Queens and Queens is under fire, that day would be very, very enjoyable to come.